So most of the officers have had the opportunity to meet Dr. Grace Sturdivant, who flew in from Mississippi to the Wausau Police Department today and yesterday to fit us with OtoPro hearing protection. In the course of getting fitted, you all got the opportunity to see what it's like to have your ear filled with a mold. But now the question is, they show up here and what do we do?
Yeah.
At that point. So I got the opportunity to see you put one in your ear and you're like, most people do this and they should probably do this and this is a better fit. So maybe you can speak to that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So what everyone around here is getting is our custom fit filtered hearing protection. We have lots of different filters and they're interchangeable, but the one that's ideal for the activities you guys are involved in is our impulse filter. And the impulse filter is unique in that it allows soft sound levels and moderate level sound levels to pass through with very little dampening. So your surroundings should sound very much the same as with your ear open. And as sounds get louder, they are suppressed more and more, so that by the time you get up to the sound of a 160 decibel gunshot, this membrane inside the filter is completely stiff and it's as if you were wearing a solid earplug. But there's nothing to charge, there's no batteries. It is truly a sound baffle that's sophisticated enough to modulate the sound pressure coming through it. So that's what the product is. It's made out of a medical grade silicone that's not going to change with temperature if they get really hot or really cold. They're going to stay the same. They're made in a hearing aid laboratory, like I say, out of medical grade materials. Now, they're supposed to fit nice and snug, and anything custom fit in your ear is going to take some getting used to, and your own voice is going to sound different, and that is to be expected because you're now having to listen through the tiny hole of the filter. So I'll show you what it looks like in my ear.
Let's check it out.
Okay, so it's easier. I'm left-handed. It's easier for me to put it in the right ear. So for this, when you take the right earpiece, you know that the part that comes farther out toward the back is going to go toward the back of your head. And the ear canal part, the part that goes in, has got to be toward the front. That might seem like an idiot thing to say, but it's sometimes in the beginning it's easy to get them confused. So you're going to work on the ear canal part first, and you get that down in the canal. Everybody's ear canal is at different angles, but you see I'm kind of pulling back on my ear while I push in, and I think about almost pushing in toward my nose. Then I'm moving up to this piece here. And with this, you want to make sure you get it tucked in to the folds of your ear. And this is what I was showing you earlier, where once it's in completely, that's great. A lot of people will mistakenly leave the top part out like this. And that can create a sore spot. It can also cause some air leakage. We want to make sure we get that tucked in, just like that. Yeah. And then to get it out, you're just going to grab it around here and twist it toward the front, and it comes right out.
Excellent.
Easy.
It'll take some getting used to. Multiple
it does. And,
repetitions.
Right. And like I say, your own voice sounds a little bit boomy, and that's okay. And I encourage...
My voice was born booming.
You're boomy. But I do encourage everyone to really give it a chance for this to become the new normal for you. I have a multitude of clients that are now wearing these comfortably all day, and you get used to it, and then you have your hearing protection in and you're ready for anything.
So I am very confident that every officer getting this very expensive hearing protection will take excellent care of it.
Right.
And I'm not even, and you realize that sounds funny, but they will take care of this like it is the gun that they're issued on the day they're hired or sworn in here. But with that being said, can you talk about, obviously if we go to the shooting range, we want our officers to have their hearing protected, loud gunshots. I wear hearing aids and I've worn hearing protection every time I'm at the range. Likely it's running a chainsaw or a lawnmower or other things. What are the other things that officers may be experiencing either in their personal life or their professional life that have the potential to cause hearing damage that they might want to consider taking very good care of these and using them outside of the shooting range at?
Noise, once you start paying attention to noise, it's everywhere. And noise exposure and noise-induced hearing loss is cumulative over a lifetime. So it's not just when you're shooting guns or are exposed to loud sirens for an extended period of time. No, it's that in combination with all the other noise exposure in your past. I liken it to sun damage. So I grew up in the age of tanning beds and tanning salons, and you might get a sunburn, your skin even might peel. It's kind of like when you get the temporary ringing in your ears after a big exposure. But then when you're young, that goes away and your skin looks great again. And then when you get into your 40s, your 50s, all that damage that you did at a cellular level when you were younger is starting to show up. And the same thing happens with your hearing. You damage these little tiny hair cells that transmit the sounds to the brain, and they'll recover a certain number of times until they just won't recover anymore.
So we talked about the ringing in the ears, and is it tinnitus or tinnitus? Or
Tomato, tomato. In the medical community, you'll hear tinnitus, but a lot of people say tinnitus. It's either or.
So it surprised me as we were talking about that earlier that I must have misheard you, because I thought you had said that drinking alcohol had the ability to reduce the tinnitus. But what are some things for those of our staff who have tinnitus and have that ringing in their ear? What are some of the things that impact that, either the ability to reduce it or that might make it worse?
Yeah. So with the ringing in your ears, it's actually something that's happening at the brain level where the brain is looking for a stimulus that's not arriving, typically because of a hearing loss. But tinnitus can also come on because of genetics or some other factors. But most often it's the result of a hearing loss. And even if it's at a very discrete pitch where you don't notice that it's a hearing difficulty, you just notice the ringing. The ringing is kind of the first warning sign that you're starting to get some damage to your hearing. Now, at the level of the brain is going to be working to compensate for that and to suppress the perception of that ringing. But when you have times of lack of sleep, stress, something traumatic happens, caffeine, alcohol, even salt intake can interfere with the brain's gating system that it's using to suppress the tinnitus. And so in those types of situations, the tinnitus is going to sound a whole lot louder. So oftentimes I'll counsel people when they call me up and they say, I've always had ringing off and on, but now, it is just really at a fever pitch. And I'm saying, okay, talk to me about what else is going on in your life. And especially, in the line of duty, tinnitus is the number one service-connected disability at the VA. And it truly, in my mind, makes complete sense because you're not only assaulting your ears with the blast and the sounds, but you're also right in the midst of a very stressful, traumatic situation at the same time. And so it can make it that much worse. So it is a physical reaction. It's not something that's just in your head. It is actually happening in your brain. And a lot of times the best course of treatment is a combination of taking care of yourself and your health and your diet and your mental health and getting control of your stress levels and your sleep. It's not gonna cure it, but it's gonna help you manage it. And then the best protection for it to permanently get worse, not to permanently get worse, is hearing protection.
So all the relatively young, newer officers we're hiring, it's preventable if they protect their hearing from early 20s.
It is.
Through their life.
I start to get really technical when I start saying, yes, we can prevent hearing loss. We can, but your organ of hearing is right behind this mastoid bone of your skull, just a few millimeters behind your ear. And the bones of your skull are excellent transducers of sound. So even if we completely seal off your ear canal, which is ideal, we're essentially shutting a big, heavy door. If something big happens on the other side of that door, you're still going to hear it. The bones of your skull are also transmitting sound. So with something in your ear, we can feasibly say that we're going to reduce the sound of a blast by about 30 decibels. To get more than that, you put muffs on top, preferably muffs that cover a decent amount of surface area around your ear. That's going to give you upwards of 50 decibels of protection. To get more than that, we've got to put you in a full helmet because even your teeth transmit sound.
We're not going that route.
It's kind of crazy. But my job, what I see as my job and my life's calling, to be honest with you, is to give you the most high quality, realistic tools that you can use so that you can do what you need to do in the safest way possible. Is it going to guarantee that you absolutely never get any hearing loss or ringing in your ears? No. But it's going to give you your best chance to fight against it. Yeah.
So one of the questions I've had several officers ask is, what if I want to get another set, or like, do I have to get molded again?
No, you don't have to get molded again. And it's really not that bad of an experience, is it?
I didn't think so.
Now, every now and then I will have someone who sits in the chair, and the nerve endings in everyone's ear canals, even on the same person, are very different. And there are some times that people experience significant discomfort. Most of the time, that's not the case. Now, once we mold your ears, excuse me.
You're fine.
Once we mold your ears, what I end up with is this cast of your ear. And I'm going to send this to our lab where it's going to get digitally scanned. And a real person, is going to sit down and decide, okay, for this type of product, we want it to stop here, and we want the angle of it to be this way, so we're pointing sound at the eardrum, and we're going to shape this out, and oh, they've got a piercing right here, so we're going to accommodate for that. So there's like a human element to the modeling part. And then once that's done, you're able to place orders in the future for custom fit products right off the website, or by just calling us or sending us a message if you're not sure what you need or want. But once the molding part's done, it's very easy.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What am I not asking you about?
What are you not asking me about? We talked about tinnitus. We talked about fit. I'd love to tell you about the lanyard that comes with these products.
Sure.
There was not a lanyard in existence that I could find that was not going to whip in the wind or get caught on branches when people are walking through the woods or interfere with gun mount. So this is one that that I designed, actually. It was my first like proprietary thing, and you wouldn't think it's that big of a deal, but the lanyard, it's a good one if I do say so. I put 2 adjuster beads on here, one to go behind your head and one to go in front of your head, so that you can adjust all the slack to your liking. So you put the lanyard on like this, and that way you can adjust here. Also, when you're finished shooting at the range and you want to take them out, they can dangle around your neck. And then when you put them in, like I say, you adjust all the slack so that there's nothing to interfere. There's nothing to distract you. So that's the proper way to wear our lanyard. There's that. I'll also say, the filters are interchangeable. So if people want to be able to convert these plugs into solid plugs, they can order solid adapters. And in that case, we send you a little tool, and you can, there's a little bit of stretch here. You see how you could pop this little filter out, and then the additional filters are the same size, and you just put them right in their place. So we have a solid adapter. We have a filter for live music that keeps music sounding the same, great bass to treble, and just turns down everything overall. Those are really popular. And then we have a multitude of different industrial type filters that we can match to someone's manufacturing facility noise survey report, so that we can choose just the right filter to have them meet the guidelines. So those interchangeable filters are an option. We have floatable swim plugs, sleeping plugs. I mean, really, let us know what you need. We'll figure it out.
For everything.
Earplugs.
And one of the other things we talked about, and we'll get information out to our staff, is there is the ability, it's an additional cost, but there is the ability to take their Motorola radios with a coil line that many officers wear an earpiece, and run that coil line directly into.
Yes, we would basically bore a hole or a vent through here and attach the elbow piece the same way that it attaches to the non-custom skeleton mold that you guys are wearing now. And that would give you the same functionality of this earplug, but with the attachment to the coil tube. In that case, you can't remove the coiled tube and keep the protection, because you're leaving the hole that the sound is traveling through. So that's why this is the better starting point, because you can wear it in so many different situations when you may not have your radio. But I think a wonderful next step, if somebody's wanting to do more, would be to let us know which ear, and let us get you the radio attachment earpiece for that ear that you would pair with the one you've already gotten through the department.
Excellent.
Yeah. So to clean these, care and maintenance, I mean, you want to keep them clean, and some ears are going to get grimier than others. So you can take a fairly damp washcloth and just wipe them down. You can use a lint-free cloth like what comes with your sunglasses or your glasses. And then if the filters get really dusty, dirty, you can take them out as if you were going to change them out, and you can use a mild facial cleanser, like a foaming, Aveeno makes a good one, but a foaming gentle facial cleanser, and very carefully so they don't go down the drain. Wash them, rinse them, and then set them on like a paper towel or something to dry overnight, and then put them back in, and they'll be good as new.
They can get wet.
They can get wet. Don't leave them submerged in water. Don't soak them. But no, these are not. This is absolutely fine to get wet. Yep. And we use some of the same filters for pressure equalization for divers, but they function a little bit differently. I mean, I have shooting instructors that are wearing these all day, every day. And like I say, you get used to them. And the more you're able to wear them, then the less unusual it's going to feel when you do put them on. So I do recommend wearing them consistently and getting used to them, getting used to the way your voice sounds. It's absolutely possible to wear these on patrol and to wear them day in, day out. Now, the actual acceptance of that practice, I don't know. That's going to be officer specific, and it's going to depend on how important that is to that officer. But absolutely, I mean, I've got plenty of clients who wear these day in, day out, and it's just become their new normal when they're on the job that requires them to be able to communicate and stay protected consistently.
I think for us here at the police department, from a policy standpoint, our expectation is our staff wear their hearing protection when they're at the range. The filters we've paid for the filters so that they have the ability to hear instruction, hear the people around them, and still be protected and not have to be taking earplugs in and out or taking earmuffs on and off. There's nothing where we would say you can't wear them for protection. I think there's car crashes with sirens, there's the horn of a vehicle that's been in a crash that's going off until the battery can be disconnected. There's plenty of exposure to loud noises. Our officers, the expectation is, if not an expectation, but if you want to have them with you at all times while you're on patrol, you might find a need to put them in. So, but part of it is like, what is our experience with it? If officers want to try them for a period of time, they could. If they find that that's not effective for them on patrol, we're not requiring that they wear them all the time, other than when they're at our shooting range. Yeah,
I think that's a great rule of thumb. I also want to let people know that if there's any question about the fit or the function for you, if you're questioning, like, should it feel this way? We are more than happy to jump on a FaceTime call or a Google Meet and assess how they're fitting. And we have 60 days from the time you receive this product, according to our own policies, that we are willing to remake product for you and make sure that we've done everything in our power to get the optimal fit. So if there's something not right, don't wait 6 months to let us know that you're not totally happy with it, because we really want to make this the best it can be for you, and we don't know that there's a problem unless you tell us there's an issue. So it's not unusual when you first start wearing a really snug fitting custom product the way these are meant to be. There are some people that have to kind of work up their tolerance of that product in their ear, and that's okay. If you put them in and right at first there's just one spot, have your buddy take a look and make sure there's nothing, that it's in properly, and then give it a little bit of time, but then certainly let us know. Because with anything custom, there's going to be a margin for error, and we get most of it right the first time, but every now and then we do have to remake a product for somebody, and we're happy to do it. So OtoPro, OtoProTechnologies.com, and I'm always looking for new products. Like this is the fancy Bluetooth streaming, amplifying, protection in one product. It's called the Sound Gear Phantom.
It cost way too much money for what we could spend on everybody.
It's very expensive, but it is kind of like the most bells and whistles on the market right now in protection. But I'm always looking for new, cool offerings to put on there. So we try to keep people updated on social media with what we're up to. and our website as well. So, but the products that you guys are getting have been tried and true since I started this business in 2018. And the filters are unique and are far superior to some of the lower end filters that are on the market. The sound quality is unlike any other that I've tried.